Hello everyone. Harry has sent shockwaves through the British monarchy, capturing the world's attention with explosive claims. At the center of the controversy are shocking allegations that Archie and Lilibet, the Sussex children, may not be who the public believes, or worse, may not exist at all. Once mere whispers in the darker corners of royal gossip, these rumors have now erupted into the open, setting the stage for what could be one of the most scandalous confrontations between the Sussexes and the royal family. Meghan Markle was reportedly preparing for a rare visit to the UK, supposedly to attend a charity event and possibly begin mending the strained relationship with her in-laws. However, in a surprising and dramatic twist, King Charles abruptly cancelled her plans. According to insiders, this decision was not just a personal slight but a calculated move to prevent Meghan from further disrupting the already fragile dynamics within the royal family. Palace sources suggest that this was a strategic choice to limit Meghan's potential impact during an already tense and delicate time. The cancellation wasn't just a routine travel advisory, it was a public snub, signaling that King Charles has lost patience with the Sussexes. The message was clear: the royal family is done playing nice. With this bold move, Charles has taken a more assertive stance against Meghan and Harry's ongoing provocations. Meghan's cancelled trip is being seen as a preemptive strike, a warning to let her know that her actions and the persistent rumors about her children are no longer being ignored. For a family that values discretion and control, the idea of Meghan returning to the UK under the pretense of attending a charity event was too much to handle, especially with the palace on the verge of revealing potentially damaging information about the Sussexes' most closely guarded secrets. At the heart of this brewing drama are shocking allegations that Archie and Lilibet may not be Meghan and Harry's biological children, or in the most extreme version of the rumor, that the children might not exist at all. The palace's rumored plan to expose these allegations has sent shockwaves through royal circles, with whispers of hidden legal agreements, surrogacy deals, and dark secrets that could shatter the Sussexes' carefully crafted image of privacy and family life. Conspiracy theories surrounding the true nature of Archie and Lilibet's births have simmered beneath the surface, fueled by the couple's intense secrecy and the public's endless curiosity. These theories have gained momentum with recent hints that palace aides might be ready to bring these claims into the public eye. If Meghan continues to defy the monarchy's unwritten rules, the most shocking rumor suggests that the Sussex children might not be real at all, merely fictional characters used as props in a media-driven performance to enhance Meghan and Harry's public image. Although no concrete evidence has emerged to support these wild allegations, the palace's willingness to entertain such claims speaks volumes about the deep-rooted animosity between the Sussexes and the royal establishment. This looming threat could push the feud between the Sussexes and the palace to an unprecedented level. If the monarchy decides to reveal what it knows, the consequences could be devastating for Meghan and Harry's public image, turning their ongoing clash with the royal family from a tabloid drama into a full-blown crisis. As usual, Meghan and Harry have remained publicly silent about the latest allegations, continuing their stance of dignified privacy. However, insiders suggest that behind the scenes, the couple is preparing for a fight. The Sussexes have always fiercely protected their children's privacy, shielding them from media scrutiny and only offering carefully curated glimpses into their family life. But this silence is becoming a double-edged sword. By not directly addressing the rumors, Meghan and Harry have allowed them to grow, fueling the public's hunger for scandal and conspiracy. Their reluctance to engage with these claims hints at a vulnerability, as if they fear that any response might only intensify the situation. The couple's refusal to address the allegations directly also raises concerns about how they plan to defend themselves if the palace decides to go public. While they've always been swift to counter media intrusions and false claims, this new threat is different. It poses a challenge that could shake the very core of their carefully built public image. There are also rumors that Meghan and Harry might be gearing up for a legal battle, potentially using their ongoing disputes with British tabloids as leverage against any revelations from the palace. However, this strategy is risky. The court of public opinion is unpredictable, and a prolonged legal fight could end up revealing more than they intended. King Charles' decision to cancel Meghan's UK trip wasn't just a personal vendetta, it reflected his growing frustration with the Sussexes' continued defiance and the ongoing drama that has cast a shadow over his reign. Charles, who has long worked to present the monarchy as united and modern, now finds himself increasingly at odds with a son and daughter-in-law who seem determined to forge their own path no matter the cost. The looming threat to reveal the truth about Archie and Lilibet is seen by many as a desperate attempt to regain control of the narrative and reassert the monarchy's authority over a family that, in Charles' eyes, has gone rogue. It's a bold move that shows just how far the palace is willing to go to protect its reputation and defend its legacy. For Charles, this gamble could either push Meghan and Harry into compliance or backfire, plunging the royal family into a scandal of unprecedented scale. His frustration is evident, and his decision to take such drastic action suggests that he sees the Sussexes not just as rebellious family members, but as real threats to the stability of the monarchy. If the palace follows through on its implied threat to reveal the truth about Archie and Lilibet, the impact could be enormous. The mere idea that the children of a royal prince might be fictional, or at the very least not what they've seen, would spark a scandal unlike any in modern royal history. The fallout wouldn't just tarnish Meghan and Harry's reputations, it would raise serious questions about how far they've gone to protect their privacy and brand. Such revelations would also have deep consequences for the monarchy itself. A public exposure of the Sussexes' alleged deception could further weaken the fragile relationship between the royal family and the public, casting a shadow over King Charles' efforts to modernize and unify the institution. The monarchy's credibility, already tested by years of scandal, would face its greatest challenge yet. For Meghan and Harry, the exposure of these allegations could signal the downfall of their carefully crafted public images. Their narrative of being victims estranged from a cold, uncaring royal family would be turned upside down, revealing a couple willing to go to great lengths to manipulate their image and control the story. The public, already weary of the Sussexes' ongoing drama, may not be as forgiving if it becomes clear they have been deceived. Meghan's reaction to the palace's threat has been one of quiet defiance, but her growing desperation is evident behind the scenes. Once celebrated for her modern approach and philanthropic efforts, the Duchess now finds herself trapped in a cycle of controversy and suspicion that threatens to engulf her. The prospect of her children's legitimacy being publicly questioned is a devastating blow not just to her image as a mother, but to her entire carefully constructed narrative. For Meghan, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her entire brand is built on the image of a loving, relatable mother who has bravely confronted a hostile and outdated institution. The threat that Archie and Lilibet might not be who she claims they are strikes at the very core of that persona, leaving her feeling vulnerable and exposed. In recent months, Meghan has increasingly been sidelined, with her once promising public engagements overshadowed by whispers of scandal and rising tensions with the palace. Her desperation to maintain control over her narrative is evident in every carefully planned appearance and meticulously crafted media statement. However, as the palace prepares for a potential showdown, it's clear that Meghan is running out of options and allies. While much attention has been on Meghan, Harry's role in this unfolding drama should not be overlooked. As the father of Archie and Lilibet, his silence on the latest allegations is significant. For someone who has always been quick to defend his family, his decision to stay in the background suggests that he, too, is grappling with the implications of what might be revealed. Harry's ongoing feud with the palace and his public battles with the British press have cast him as a man caught between loyalty to his wife and his responsibilities as a prince. However, as rumors about his children's legitimacy grow louder, Harry now faces an impossible choice: stand by Meghan and risk further alienation from his family, or confront the palace's claims head-on and jeopardize everything he holds dear. His predicament is tragic. Torn between his past and his present, he struggles to find his place in a world that seems to have moved on without him. His silence regarding the allegations about his children only fuels the perception that he is either a passive participant in Meghan's schemes or, at worst, complicit in a deception that could unravel everything he cherishes. As always, it's important to approach this situation thoughtfully, offering a fresh perspective on the scandal surrounding the Sussex children. The escalating rumors about the legitimacy of Meghan and Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, have plunged the Sussexes into what could be the most damaging chapter of their ongoing saga. As whispers of palace secrets and potential exposes reach a fever pitch, new angles are emerging that paint a more complex, dramatic, and deeply unsettling picture of the Sussexes' plight. With each twist, the stakes grow higher, and the potential fallout for Meghan, Harry, and the entire royal family becomes increasingly severe. One of the most intriguing aspects of this unfolding drama is the timing of the palace's rumored threats to reveal the truth about Archie and Lilibet. Insiders suggest that the strategic timing of these leaks is no coincidence. With Harry and Meghan's influence waning and their popularity slipping, the monarchy appears to be playing a long game, using the looming scandal as a psychological weapon to pressure the Sussexes into compliance. By allowing these rumors to emerge, the palace sends a clear message it holds all the cards. The threat of public exposure hangs over Meghan and Harry like the sword of Damocles, reminding them that their every move is being scrutinized and judged. This is a clever tactic, designed to destabilize the couple's already fragile position and force them into a defensive stance. For Meghan and Harry, this kind of pressure is not just a public relations nightmare, it's a personal struggle against an institution that knows how to play the game far better than they do. The palace's timing suggests it is ready to escalate the conflict at any moment, keeping Meghan and Harry on constant alert and uncertain about when or if the hammer will drop. As speculation grows regarding the true nature of Archie and Lilibet's births, legal experts are beginning to analyze the potential implications of a public revelation. If it were found that the children were born through surrogacy without proper legal disclosure, the consequences could be severe. Surrogacy laws are strict, especially for public figures, and any failure to comply could lead to complicated legal battles over custody, parental rights, and inheritance. For Meghan and Harry, this could become one of their toughest challenges. But it's not just about public opinion, it's about the real risk of losing control over their own story and worse, their children's futures. Legal experts warn that if the palace publicly questioned the legitimacy of Archie and Li's births, it could trigger unprecedented legal battles that would expose the couple's private lives. The impact wouldn't stop with the Sussex family. If surrogacy or other unconventional arrangements were confirmed, it could ignite a wider discussion about the rules of succession and the legitimacy of royal heirs, possibly challenging centuries-old traditions and shaking the foundations of the monarchy. An interesting twist comes from the royal aides, often seen as the behind-the-scenes players. These aides have dedicated many years to protecting the monarchy's image and are believed to be pushing for the truth about Archie and Lili to come to light. This situation isn't just about Meghan and Harry, it's about keeping the royal family's reputation safe at any cost. Reports suggest that these aides have been collecting information, creating timelines, and working with legal experts to prepare for a possible public disclosure. Their goal is clear: to maintain the royal family's good name, even if it means putting Meghan and Harry at risk. Loyal to the crown and its traditions, these aides view Meghan and Harry's actions as a serious threat to the stability they have fought hard to uphold. The involvement of royal aides brings a secretive aspect to the ongoing drama, with insiders reportedly leaking just enough information to keep the Sussexes anxious. It's like a game of mind tricks where every leak and rumor is a smart movement to shake Meghan and Harry's confidence and keep them feeling uneasy. Meghan's skill at using the media has been both her strongest tool and her biggest weakness. She has skillfully shaped a story where she appears to be a victim, like a modern princess caught in a very old system, but now that same media know-how seems to be working against her. The news outlets she once sought out are now picking apart every little detail of her life, fueling doubts about Archie and Lilibet. As rumors fly around, Meghan's efforts to steer the story have become more and more frantic. From staged photos to perfectly timed interviews, her attempts to keep her family life private are now met with doubt, seen as part of a larger plan to hide the truth. The more Meghan tries to tell her story, the more people wonder if she's hiding something. This change in how the public sees her is tough because her image relies on being real and relatable. If doubts about her children's legitimacy keep spreading, it could break the trust she's worked so hard to create with her fans, leaving her feeling alone and vulnerable to the criticism she has tried to avoid. While Meghan often shines in the Sussex family's public issues, Harry's part in this latest scandal is very complicated. The rumors about his children hit deep for him as a father and a son. These claims mean more than just gossip. They affect how he connects with his family, his duties as a royal, and his role as a dad. The stress on Harry is significant, caught between his loyalty to Meghan and his connections to the royal family. He feels stuck in a tough spot. The fear of being exposed is always hanging over him, a constant reminder that every choice he makes affects more than just himself. Harry's battle isn't only about defending his children's legitimacy, it's about carefully managing the fine line between protecting his family and staying true to himself. As the pressure builds, Harry's actions, or lack of them, are revealing. His silence shows a man deeply torn, unsure of how to take on the palace without losing what he has worked so hard to safeguard. This latest scandal isn't just another headline for Harry, it's a personal fight that could unravel everything he holds close. One key issue often overlooked is how the rumors surrounding Archie and Lilibet might impact Meghan and Harry's financial future. Their image as a modern, relatable royal family is central to their brand and closely tied to their livelihood. Any doubts about their children's legitimacy could seriously harm their marketability and income. Brand partnerships, media deals, and speaking engagements, all built on the Sussexes' carefully crafted public image, could be at risk. If these rumors gain traction, the financial impact could be significant, especially with their high-profile lifestyle and ongoing legal challenges. Meghan and Harry have positioned themselves as global influencers, but their ability to stay in that role depends on the public's trust. If that trust is broken, the financial fallout could come quickly and be harsh. Additionally, the scandal could complicate their current contracts and limit future opportunities. Companies that once viewed them as valuable assets might pull away to protect their own image, leaving Meghan and Harry struggling to rebuild their brand. With so much invested in their public persona, the financial stakes for the couple are higher than ever. The possible truth about Archie and Lilibet affects more than just Meghan and Harry. It could reshape the monarchy itself. The royal family has long been built on stability, tradition, and continuity. However, if the palace were to confirm the most shocking parts of the rumors, it would not only cast doubt on the Sussexes' integrity, but challenge the entire royal story. The idea that royal heirs might not be who they seem threatens centuries of precedent and raises tough questions about succession, legitimacy, and what it really means to be royal. For the monarchy, this scandal could lead to an identity crisis, forcing a reevaluation of its very purpose. In today's world, how the public reacts will be key to the lasting effects of this scandal. If the palace's revelations spark outrage or disbelief, it could lead to a much larger crisis of confidence in the royal family, further damaging the monarchy's already fragile reputation. This situation could go either way. If the public sides with the palace, it might signal the end of the Sussexes' influence and strengthen the monarchy's lasting power. As tensions rise, Meghan's next move will be crucial in shaping how this drama unfolds. Some insiders believe she may try to counter with a bold narrative, using her media connections to present herself as a victim of a harsh and unforgiving institution. However, this approach carries serious risks. The public is growing tired of the Sussexes' ongoing claims of victimhood, and any attempt to shift blame could backfire badly. Alternatively, Meghan might choose a quieter path, stepping back from the spotlight to protect her children and preserve what's left of her public image. This would require a humility and restraint she hasn't often shown, but it might be her best chance to regain control of the narrative. Whatever Meghan chooses, the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about saving face, it's about protecting her family's legacy, financial future, and her place in the public eye. With the palace ready to make its next move, Meghan stands at a crossroads, facing a decision that will shape her story for years to come. As rumors about Archie and Lilibet continue to spread, the future for Meghan, Harry, and the royal family remains uncertain. The palace's threat to reveal the truth could be the breaking point in a saga that has already pushed the monarchy to its limits. For Meghan and Harry, the challenge is not just to defend themselves, but to navigate a scandal that could completely change how the public views the entire royal family. The coming weeks and months will be crucial as both sides consider their options and prepare for what could be the ultimate royal showdown. The public's thirst for drama seems endless, but the fallout from this latest scandal could shake the very foundation of the monarchy. For now, all eyes are on Meghan and Harry, waiting to see how they will face the biggest challenge of their public lives. Watching the ongoing drama around them and their children feels like watching a slow-motion car crash impossible to look away from, no matter how chaotic or sensational it becomes. The rumors about Archie and Lilibet, whether true or not, have dragged this saga into a strange and unsettling place that feels almost too surreal. Yet here we are, caught in a storm of accusations, denials, and strategic leaks that have become the hallmark of the Sussexes' public life. What stands out most is how this chapter has revealed just how fragile Meghan and Harry's carefully crafted narrative truly is. Meghan's next decision carries enormous stakes. This isn't just about saving face, it's about safeguarding her family's legacy, financial future, and position in the public eye. With the palace ready to act, Meghan stands at a crossroads, facing a choice that will define her story for years to come. As rumors about Archie and Lilibet continue to swirl, the future for Meghan, Harry, and the royal family remains uncertain. The palace's threat to reveal the truth could be the tipping point in a saga that has already pushed the monarchy to its breaking point. For Meghan and Harry, the challenge is not only defending themselves, but also navigating a scandal that could change how the public views the royal institution as a whole. The coming weeks and months will be critical as both sides weigh their options, preparing for what could be the ultimate royal showdown. The public's craving for drama never seems to end, but this latest scandal could have consequences that go far beyond the headlines, shaking the very foundation of the monarchy. Right now, all eyes are on Meghan and Harry, waiting to see how they'll handle the biggest challenge of their public lives. Watching the drama unfold around them and their children feels like witnessing a slow-motion car crash impossible to turn away from, no matter how messy or sensational it becomes. The rumors about Archie and Lilibet, true or not, have pulled this saga into a dark, unsettling place that feels almost too surreal. Yet here we are, caught in a whirlwind of accusations, denials, and strategic leaks that continue to shape the Sussex's very public life. What stands out most is how this latest chapter has revealed the fragility of Meghan and Harry's carefully built narrative. For so long, Meghan and Harry have presented themselves as victims of a cold, outdated institution, a modern couple trapped by the old-fashioned rules of royalty. But now the tables are turning. The very secrets they fought to protect are becoming the weapon that could bring them down. Their brand has always been about control over their image, their story, and their children's privacy. Yet ironically, that control is slipping away. The palace's rumored threats to reveal the truth about Archie and Lilibet feel like a high-stakes chess match, with every move designed to increase the pressure. The monarchy, after all, is more than just an institution, it's a master of media manipulation. Without the palace's protection, Meghan and Harry were always going to face an uphill battle. Now, as they confront the possibility of their most personal secrets being exposed, it's becoming clear that they are outmatched. I often wonder about the choices Meghan and Harry have made. How did they end up here? What were they thinking when they chose to challenge the very institution that raised Harry and helped Meghan gain global recognition? Their actions seem bold, almost as if they believed they could break the rules and still come out ahead, but reality has been much harder than they expected, and their defiance has come with a price they didn't seem ready to pay. It's tough not to feel a bit frustrated as this situation drags on. The constant claims of being wronged, the back and forth with the palace, and the strategic leaks from both sides, it's all tiring. What was once a promise of fresh energy to the royal family now feels like an endless cycle of drama. Instead of being symbols of modernity and change, Meghan and Harry have become a reminder of what happens when ambition clashes with the unwavering strength of tradition. Rumors about Archie and Lilibet add a particularly harsh twist to this story. If there's any truth to the idea that the children might not be who they appear to be, Meghan and Harry's legacy could be in serious trouble. The public might overlook many things, but misleading them about something as sacred as family is a line that's rarely crossed without severe consequences. Even if these claims are completely false, the damage has already been done. Just the suggestion of deception has sown seeds of doubt that will be tough to remove. You've likely seen this along with the altered images and everything else related, including the film that had its sound cut so people can't naturally respond. Lip readers around the world can often figure out what's happening behind the scenes, and as we've pointed out, there are moments when their relationship seems to be at its lowest point. When Meghan asked for a hand just as they entered the public eye, it seems Harry forgot the importance of sticking to the script. The expectation for public figures is clear: always follow the script. Look at how Ben have handled things. They maintained that approach until just a few days ago when they announced their decision to end their marriage. Harry, it's time to get your act together because this is a bigger issue that needs attention. Remember the event in Colombia? You probably know the one with all the little children involved. There were rumors that he planned to become a key figure in the Colombian football scene. The response they got was just the beginning of a bigger problem. Right now, Hamilton seems to be doing pretty well, which is a good thing given how things are lately. However, let's be clear, Harry and Meghan's trip to Colombia turned into a real public relations disaster. Unfortunately, the situation only seems to be getting worse. In my opinion, it has nothing to do with losing a key chief of staff, even if some people think that was a big loss. It's not like he was there long enough to make a real impact. At this stage, things are getting more interesting and complicated. As it always happens, things are getting really exciting, but also quite complicated. Do you remember when all those school children were brought in on wheelchairs? There was even one child who suddenly decided to do a fake curtsy. This has been talked about a lot online, and I want to say it again, someone must have told that kid to do it. They knew it was a moment to grab attention. Don't you think it's funny how Meghan seems pleased that someone finally curtsied to her, but she didn't show the same respect to her own family, the senior members of the British royal family? In Meghan's world, it seems like there are two different sets of rules. Now, it gets even more complicated. Franny Marquez genuinely thought that Harry and Meghan would bring at least one of their children along, especially Prince Archie. She knew the school visit was planned and that there would be children there, making it a perfect chance for a special moment. Harry and Meghan were also told about this opportunity and they seemed to appreciate it. They called it a wonderful chance for what they described as a fake royal visit along with a pretend royal tour for Prince Archie. I suspected from the beginning that they wouldn't let their children go anywhere, not even outside to play, especially not to a faraway place. Who knows if those kids even exist? Do you agree? If you think the same, please comment 1. If you don't, comment 2 and share your thoughts. As we now know, they didn't show up, and they certainly didn't bring Archie along. It seems that Marquez didn't get any real explanation for what happened or why. Then things took an unexpected turn, which is why it's reported that they deleted the audio, just like they have done before. Many of the kids kept asking, where is Archie? Is Prince Archie still around? This became quite embarrassing as the trip went on. Clearly, someone from their team had announced this would happen. The kids were hoping to meet a famous soccer player, which turned out to be the biggest letdown. On top of that, they suddenly realized they weren't going to meet anyone their own age, which is typically what they would expect. Meghan seems to showcase the children in front of the camera just to make money, especially from Netflix, and then quickly pulls them away. This could have been a significant PR moment, especially when she briefly mentioned one of her daughters. During a recent conversation in Spanish, it was amusing to hear her say that her daughter Lily is now finding her own voice, though she's only 3 years old. Besides asking for food and getting it done quickly, what else could this child possibly say? In the unpredictable world of the Sussexes, it's always about the positive spin, and that seems to be more true than ever. It seems clear that Meghan won't divorce Harry until after he turns 40 and receives his inheritance. Hopefully there's a strong prenup in place. Not only would it prevent issues in a divorce settlement, but with around $8 million, she'd likely spend that in no time. I don't think he's going to get his inheritance just yet. Princess Anne controls the money and she could change when he receives it, possibly delaying it until he's 45 if she feels he's not ready by 40. A marriage agreement like this is beyond strange, even for the general public. For royalty, it's just plain bizarre. The couple seems to have serious issues and it feels like they're trying to deceive everyone. They're even hiding the children because honestly, those kids don't seem to exist. It's exhausting seeing them use these children against King Charles. Meghan's constant lying is overwhelming. Let's not forget when she and Harry joined Prince William and Princess Catherine at a mental health event, where Meghan mentioned that women don't need to find their voice, they already have one. All Meghan says is that people need to use their voice, but how could little Betty have done that at 3 years old? What is Meghan even talking about? It feels like just another confusing speech. Those poor kids from Colombia are used for photos and to boost their image. No one's asking for Meghan's autograph. We want DNA tests on the kids and a lie detector test for her. Imagine the uproar if Princess Catherine hid her children from the public like Meghan and Harry do. The real joke is that Meghan's actions make Harry and Meghan's children seem irrelevant. The more they hide them, the more it looks like they're trying to create mystery for attention. Most of us don't care about seeing them, we just wonder if those children are actually theirs. It's also strange how those kids would even know about Archie when they didn't even know who Meghan and Harry were or why they were visiting. The hypocrisy is hard to miss. They hide their own kids from the spotlight, but they're quick to use other children, alive or not, for their own publicity. It's clear Meghan isn't a hands-on mother like Princess Catherine. She's never seen with her kids and probably avoids showing them because she's embarrassed, maybe even jealous of them. Thank goodness those kids aren't really theirs. Hopefully they're being cared for by responsible adults. Charles should step up and demand DNA tests. If the kids do exist, maybe they're being raised by nannies, which would be a relief compared to being with Doria. I hope Archie starts school this year. Someone needs to keep an eye on him, assuming he's real. It's just odd how they handle everything with their children. Most parents are seen out with their kids at least occasionally, but not them. Even Jennifer Lopez, who's known for being a narcissist and wasn't exactly a hands-on mom, has been seen with her kids in public when they were younger. Something about this situation just doesn't sit right, and it's hard to understand why the royal family would go along with it if there's any truth to these suspicions. It's strange even for someone like Meghan. You'd think if she actually had kids, she'd be selling their photos to the highest bidder by now, especially as her popularity fades. It makes you wonder if Henry will ever speak up, maybe even if he gets the courage to divorce her. The mystery surrounding these invisible kids really needs to be brought into the open. Meghan's behavior is so sad she even had to use Eugenie's child as a stand-in for Archie. I bet she was fuming when those kids asked, "Where's Archie and where's your dad?" Just imagine if a man stood up and said girls should be raised to listen while boys are raised to be heard, what a statement that would be. There would definitely be outrage. People talk a lot about misogyny, but there's not much attention on misandry, which is just as harmful. Meghan Markle seems to get angry pretty quickly, doesn't she? We've seen this play out with all the staff members leaving the Montecito estate. This behavior showed up again during their most recent fake global tour in Colombia. So much has come to light from that trip, and it all seems ridiculous. It's clear Meghan just wants to do things her way, no matter what. As we've mentioned before, it's concerning, isn't it? Especially when you see her casually chatting during that CBS interview with Jane Pauley, talking about how lovely their children are. You know, they always say, oh, our children are amazing, wonderful, and all we want to do is protect them, but it's like they're invisible, not even showing up on tracing paper. No one ever sees them, and this just fuels even more speculation. You have to wonder, where does anyone ever see these kids? Not a single celebrity friend has ever mentioned meeting them, which only adds to the mystery Meghan seems to be building around the whole situation. And then, of course, this all came up again during that trip to Colombia. Are you tired of Meghan using her children as bait? If so, drop a comment with a number 1, and if you're okay with it, let us know by commenting vice versa. Comment number 2 noted, yes, something definitely happened in Colombia, and of course Meghan was quick to seize the microphone, holding on like her life depended on it. She went on to share her well-worn story about how she supposedly changed the world by writing letters to a soap company when she was just 11. By now, we all know the real credit belongs to her father, Thomas Markle, the TV director and lighting guy who set the whole thing up. But Meghan won't change her version of events. She's too committed to that narrative. Then, if you recall, she went on to tell people how she discovered some new chapter of joy in her life. As always, it feels a little rehearsed and overly dramatic. It was clear that many in the audience were losing interest, nodding off as Meghan shared her story. It didn't seem like anyone else had found a chapter of joy during her speech. Then she moved on to talk about her daughter, Lilibet, Princess Lili, or whatever name she's going by, though no one ever sees her. Call her whatever you like. Meghan claimed that at just 3 years old, her daughter has already found her voice. As a mother, she said one of her goals is to encourage her daughter in every way she can. Apparently, this is something they're proud of, as she emphasized that it's part of creating a ripple effect for change. Yes, exactly. A 3-year-old finding their voice probably just means they're learning to scream, right? But Meghan insists her daughter has discovered her voice. Who knows, maybe she'll be giving speeches herself any day now. If she's anything like her mother, she'll have a microphone in hand by the time she's 5. But this is where things get a bit more complicated behind the scenes. As you may have noticed, there was a large screen behind Meghan on stage. It was kindly suggested that maybe she should put up a sweet picture of herself with Lili to emphasize her role as a mother. But no image of Lili, and no sign of Meghan wanting to share one. Seems like another missed opportunity, doesn't it? There was no way that was going to happen. Franny Marquez was left quite shocked, thinking, you promised to bring the kids. Things almost went into meltdown mode, and she was left in disbelief. At this point, they weren't even allowed to show a picture. According to sources, Prince Harry was actually quite excited about the idea, but as usual, he was shut down. What's the reasoning behind that? It seems almost cruel to talk so much about your child discovering her voice and being amazing, but then refuse to show a single picture. Naturally, this just fuels even more curiosity and suspicion. People can't help but wonder why they are so incredibly protective of their children, whatever the real reason might be. Meghan's latest outburst was all about Lili. Yet she used her speech to grab some much-needed positive coverage. It's unfortunate that she can't see how pretentious and ridiculous she comes across. She seems too self-absorbed to realize it. I feel sorry for her father, who did everything he could to give her the best life, only for her to treat him like this, especially since she didn't even give birth to those children. I've been saying for years that they need to be removed from the line of succession. To be royal, a child should be born to their mother in a way that is verifiable. This is why I question why King Charles hasn't sorted this mess out. It should have never reached this point, especially since they know she had a hysterectomy. Honestly, if the children are off limits, what does it matter if we see them? No big deal. They're just kids growing up and life goes on with or without them. If those two actually had children, they would probably be selling their pictures to the highest bidder and comparing them to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. A real mom would wake up every day wanting to outshine Catherine, Princess of Wales. It's hard to believe there are actually children involved, especially when it feels rude and hurtful to name their daughter Lilibet. The fact that no one has seen her and that she's been supposedly finding her voice for 3 years is just absurd. No parent makes such a silly statement about their child. It's completely bizarre to say that Lily has found her voice at 3, as if it's something special and noteworthy. She's creating a ripple effect. What a silly thing to say. As a narcissist, it seems Meghan doesn't want to share the spotlight even with her own daughter. It makes me wonder why there hasn't been a welfare check on these alleged children. With so many people expressing concerns, you'd think it would have happened by now. It seems strange to raise a daughter to believe she has to be extra special and fight for a voice that other young children already have. At the same time, it's sad that their son is being raised to think he should hide his voice and just listen to his sister. Shouldn't children be treated as equals instead of being raised under gender biases? I thought we moved past segregated gender roles more than 30 years ago. Meghan keeps repeating the same meaningless word salad wherever she goes. She just shuffles a few words around here and there but keeps using the same annoying buzzwords over and over again. Maybe she's holding out for a payday with those kids' exclusive pictures or even a docuseries. After all, they're not called Lilibet and Archie for nothing. It's quite possible that Harry and Meghan are setting a troubling example for their kids. Mommy is in charge, mommy talks, and daddy listens and obeys. This could make Archie feel like he needs to stay completely in the background. If those children do exist, they're going to grow up in a very confusing environment. Don't you think that if they really do exist, California should do a welfare check on those kids? They should be taken away from Harry and Meghan, as neither of them seems fit to be parents. It's clear that they see their children as a source of income, a bargaining chip, and leverage for blackmailing the royal family. One thing Meghan seems to forget is that if those kids are real, they will eventually grow up and learn the truth. She better start strategizing now for how to handle that situation. I wish her all the luck in the world. Lily has to be kept hidden just like Archie. As if someone could test their DNA, there must be something she's afraid of being revealed, probably worried that everyone will see through their lies once they actually see the children. There's also a chance that the kids are with their real parents who don't want the kind of publicity that Harry and Meghan are chasing. How many years are we going to keep seeing that same photo of Lily sitting in the grass? Allegedly she's 3 now, and yet we've only seen that one photo during all that time. It's quite strange. Meghan creates more negative feelings when she praises a child that no one ever sees. It's very bizarre. Some of the things she says make it sound like she's never encountered a real child before, let alone raised one. And have you noticed how often Markle emphasizes the word mother when she talks about herself as a parent? She knows that no one really believes she has children. By the way, some of those flowers look like begonias. Maybe she doesn't show pictures to keep up the mystery in hopes to attract more media attention. I can't imagine Meghan coping well with a child that age, those poor kids. If she's the role model, that child might not be taught any manners or respect for personal space. Instead, she could end up pushing people out of the way and grabbing things out of their hands, becoming all about me, 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 me. There are so many negative traits to consider, and I don't even want to think about what finding her voice might look like, likely just tantrums. Meghan has certainly set a great example for throwing tantrums. In my day, we just called them tantrums. Meanwhile, as Harry and Meghan continue their phony royal tour, they aren't getting the media attention they had hoped for. It's clear that this is entirely their own fault, as they didn't seem to want that level of media exposure in the first place. As I mentioned before, many media outlets simply don't have the financial resources to cover these fake royal tours, especially since they've spent a lot of money over the past few years covering real royals. The bottom line is that they need to be very selective with their coverage. Additionally, it's a bit of a farce to see Harry and Meghan going to a school and rambling on about how social media intrusion and digital platforms are all about them. In reality, it has nothing to do with the children at all. The exploitation is clear from the very beginning in that context. The young people they're speaking to likely don't even have the financial means to buy mobile phones. Their understanding of these issues probably isn't as advanced as it is in the United Kingdom, and I'm sure it's not as developed as in many other parts of the world. So what exactly was the purpose of that? It's clear that she's a fan of the Netflix series and decided to take advantage of the situation to get some free holiday publicity out of it. What's interesting about this news is that both Harry and Meghan have publicly stated that they wouldn't be returning until their security situation is resolved. I wanted to highlight this because it's something you're already aware of. They travel with at least 7 armored cars and have a team of people on walkie-talkies, which gives them an air of importance. Unfortunately, they're trying to present themselves like A-list celebrities. Whatever people believe, their popularity is declining at an alarming rate every day. You can see this clearly as major magazines like The Telegraph and The Times are falling further down the rankings, even on digital platforms. In the past, headlines would stay at the top for at least 2 to 3 hours, but now they aren't resonating as they hoped. What's even more interesting is that, as we all know, Harry and Meghan were quite concerned during their last visit to this location. Harry in particular was worried about the booing he faced at the Invictus Games in Birmingham, especially at St. Paul's Cathedral. He's not accustomed to that kind of negativity, so it must have been a significant change for him. He has always been really popular, which now gives him even more control over things in Colombia. When I say the crowds are disappointing, I'm being kind. Honestly, they're just not impressive. The camera might not show it well, but people are being rushed together. They can't believe it, and neither can their team. They've been told that people are worried about safety and similar issues, which is why there aren't enough attendees. So what happened with the kids? It seems like Franny Marquez thought the children would be coming. To be honest, that's the main point. It looks like Archie and Lili would have been excited to visit the country. At the last minute, they decided not to go. They didn't want to add extra pressure or financial burden on the person sponsoring the trip. That sounds pretty thoughtful, right? But is it really that simple? It's quite possible they don't have kids to bring along. What do you think? If you agree, comment with 1. If you don't, comment with 2. It's curious, isn't it? How often have we heard that these invisible children would show up to events only to have reasons pop up like Archie feeling unwell or someone baking a cake causing them to miss something big, like the coronation? Do you remember all those instances? Oddly enough, the kids are never really seen. But what's really missing from the picture are the loyal fans they cherish so much. Honestly, if you're looking for a huge following, Colombia isn't the place to find it. This has been quite a shock for Harry and Meghan as they try to settle down. No doubt Meghan may take on different roles today, but a refined lady doesn't seem to be one of them. The problem is the big difference between how things appear and what they really are. A facade can only hide the truth for so long. You can take an old, rusty bin, paint it up, and make it look new, but the smell of trash inside will always give it away. The same goes for those who try to cover up their flaws with surface-level glamour. You can dress up a pig with lipstick and polish it until it shines, but in the end, it's still just a pig unchanged and unrefined. Harry, whether naive or simply blinded by love, may have thought he had won himself a luxurious treat with Meghan, something rich and indulgent, like a triple chocolate cake that could satisfy anyone's taste. But when he took that first slice, expecting layers of sweetness, what he found was far from what he imagined. Instead of the richness he hoped for, he discovered something as unappetizing as dog food, far from the elegance he was promised. The harsh truth is, no amount of decoration can change what's beneath. Once the reality is revealed, it becomes impossible to ignore, leaving us to wonder how long this illusion can last before the surface cracks, exposing the unpleasant truth that was there all along. I believe there are many people who, like me, want to see Meghan and Harry stripped of their titles immediately. From what I understand, the king can't do this himself. It has to be done by Parliament. Once Parliament removes their titles, the king could issue a letters patent to suspend Harry's prince title, but no one believes King Charles III will act against his beloved son. It's unfortunate because until something changes, Harry and Meghan will continue down this destructive path. It also makes King Charles III appear weak. Yes, Harry is his son, but King Charles owes it to the British people to have their titles revoked. The British public is embarrassed that these two non-working royals are allowed to tarnish the reputation of the hard-working royals, and after years of this, nothing has been done. I believe it's time for the king to listen to his people and strip all titles from Harry, Meghan, even their children, as there hasn't been any DNA proof that they are truly Harry's kids. As for Meghan, no matter how many extreme makeovers she goes through to look younger, she can't hide the signs of aging or the obsession to appear as thin as Princess Catherine. Princess Catherine stands tall with strong legs, not like Meghan's thin ones. When Catherine wears a gown, it highlights her height and enhances her slim figure and natural beauty. Meghan, or Rachel as she was originally known, simply can't compete with her. No matter how many online trolls Meghan hires to criticize and accuse the princess, Catherine only becomes more beloved and admired. Her inner beauty shines through, which is why people adore her even more. No royal family would ever want someone like Meghan to be part of their circle, given her past relationships, questionable jobs, and shady college degrees. It's hard to imagine someone like Harry, born into wealth and privilege, relying on taxpayer money to fund his vacations. It's frustrating that Harry and Meghan continue to take advantage like this, and it's why so many see them as grifters. It feels like they're using the Invictus Games as their personal cash cow. Instead of the donations being properly allocated to support veterans, a large portion seems to be funneled to Harry and Meghan for their own benefit. Not to mention their foundation, RQL, which was investigated last year, reports claim that only 5% of the donations went to charity, while the remaining 95% ended up in a Delaware account. And how much longer are they going to make excuses about their children's absence? It seems like this charade will continue until they're fully exposed for what could be the con of the century. We all know the truth now, and we want it revealed publicly. Meghan's pregnancy announcement in early 2019 didn't seem like genuine good news. Instead, it felt like a calculated move. Just months after her 2018 wedding, it became clear that Meghan's influence over Harry was growing stronger, and the timing of her announcement only made that more obvious. Insiders at Buckingham Palace noticed that Harry, once dedicated to his royal duties, had shifted his attention entirely to Meghan, often neglecting his responsibilities. While the public was excited about the upcoming royal baby, those within the palace saw something more calculated. Meghan's timing seemed perfectly planned to gain the most attention, riding the media wave that followed their high-profile wedding. The pregnancy announcement appeared less like a moment of personal joy and more like a strategic move to boost Meghan's status within the royal family and secure her position as Harry's primary influence. As her pregnancy progressed, Meghan's public appearances became more controlled. Unlike other royal mothers who proudly showed off their baby bumps, Meghan chose to wear loose-fitting outfits and carefully draped coats, keeping her bump hidden. This decision raised eyebrows among royal watchers and palace insiders who began to question what was really going on. Meghan's choice of outfit, seemingly designed to conceal her pregnancy, sparked speculation, with many questioning what she might be hiding. Unlike other royals, such as Princess Catherine, whose pregnancies were widely photographed, Meghan's was notably low-key. Her avoidance of public scrutiny, coupled with her decision to give birth in a private setting instead of the traditional royal hospitals, only fueled rumors that something wasn't quite right. The secrecy surrounding her pregnancy, from the limited photos to her absence from traditional public appearances, created a sense of mystery. It felt more like a Hollywood plot than a royal event. This secrecy reached its peak when Archie was born in a highly private, non-traditional setting, breaking away from the royal family's long-standing customs. Unlike Catherine and other royal mothers who proudly presented their newborns on the steps of the Lindo wing, Meghan's birth announcement came with little fanfare, raising questions that something wasn't quite right. By opting out of a traditional royal birth setting, many saw it as a sign that Meghan was determined to control the narrative. While her team claimed privacy was the reason, skeptics suspected it was a calculated move to keep the details of her pregnancy hidden from the public eye. The lack of transparency surrounding the birth, along with discrepancies in hospital records and missing documentation, only deepened suspicions about the authenticity of her pregnancy. Inconsistencies in the timeline and the minimal information provided from the start of her pregnancy further fueled the controversy. There were even quiet discussions within royal circles about the unusual circumstances surrounding her pregnancy. Medical experts and royal commentators began to question the validity of Meghan's reported due dates, pointing out inconsistencies between her stated timeline and her physical appearance. Adding to the confusion were claims of a miscarriage, which introduced even more uncertainty. The timing of her miscarriage and subsequent pregnancy announcements didn't quite match up, raising concerns that Meghan might be using these deeply personal moments to manipulate public opinion and gain sympathy. The lack of solid evidence, combined with a constantly shifting narrative, led many to doubt the truth behind Meghan's story. As more reports emerged from Buckingham Palace, it became harder to dismiss the possibility that her pregnancy might have been a well-planned manipulation rather than a genuine event. During this time, Meghan's influence over Harry appeared stronger than ever, with the prince often looking stressed and conflicted, torn between his royal responsibilities and his wife's growing demands. The idea that Meghan might have fabricated or exaggerated aspects of her pregnancy to gain leverage over Harry paints a troubling picture of their relationship. If this is true, it would not only indicate a serious breach of ethical standards but also cast a shadow over Meghan's character, suggesting she would exploit even the most personal aspects of her life for her own benefit. The consequences of faking or manipulating a pregnancy are serious, affecting not only Meghan's credibility but also how the public views the royal family as a whole. Such a revelation could irreparably damage Meghan's reputation and raise significant ethical questions about her willingness to deceive both her husband and the public. For someone who has always presented herself as a champion of truth and justice, these allegations of dishonesty stand in stark contrast to the image she has worked so hard to build. This controversy feeds into the larger narrative of Meghan as a master manipulator, a woman who has shown a willingness to bend the truth to serve her agenda. The doubts surrounding her pregnancy with Archie only add to the mounting list of accusations against her, from allegedly bullying palace staff to using her royal position for personal financial gain. Each new revelation chips away at the carefully crafted image she projects to the world, exposing a more complicated and less flattering reality. While Meghan's actions are at the heart of this scandal, questions also arise about Harry's involvement and awareness. Was he complicit in Meghan's alleged deception, or was he simply a victim of her manipulative tactics? Harry's drastic change since meeting Meghan from a beloved royal to a deeply conflicted figure suggests that his loyalty to her has often come at the cost of his relationships with his family and his royal responsibilities. Harry's unwavering support for Meghan, even amid growing controversies, raises questions about his judgment and whether he can see beyond her influence. The idea that Meghan might have used her pregnancy to strengthen her hold over Harry adds a troubling dimension to their already complicated relationship. It paints a picture of a prince who, instead of acting as an independent figure, has become increasingly entangled in Meghan's web of control and deception. The allegations against Meghan don't just impact her personally, they could have far-reaching consequences for the entire royal institution. If it were proven that she manipulated her pregnancy, it would mark one of the most shocking breaches of trust in the monarchy's history. With the royal family already under intense scrutiny due to Harry and Meghan's public criticisms, this scandal could further undermine its credibility and public standing. This situation isn't just about Meghan, it touches on the very essence of the monarchy and the values it claims to uphold. A scandal of this size could seriously harm the royal family's reputation, reinforcing the narrative of dysfunction and deceit that Meghan and Harry have often echoed in their public statements. The potential fallout from this controversy could have lasting implications, further straining the already delicate relationship between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family. Public reaction to the reports has been mixed. Some express disbelief at the extent of Meghan's alleged deceit, while others remain unwavering in their support for her. For those who have always viewed Meghan with skepticism, these revelations confirm their worst fears that she is a manipulative figure willing to do anything to maintain her narrative. On the other hand, Meghan's supporters see these allegations as yet another attempt by the royal establishment to discredit her and undermine her story. The divided public opinion highlights the broader struggle over Meghan's place within the royal narrative. On one hand, she is viewed as a victim of a rigid and unwelcoming institution. On the other, she is seen as a calculating figure who has manipulated her way into the monarchy only to exploit her position for personal gain. The controversy surrounding her pregnancy embodies this division, revealing a public increasingly skeptical of her motives and actions. The ongoing scrutiny of Meghan's pregnancy claims threatens to undermine the carefully crafted narrative that she and Harry have been promoting since leaving royal life. Central to their story has been the portrayal of a couple mistreated and misunderstood by the royal institution, fighting against outdated traditions and systemic prejudice. However, the emergence of these allegations suggests that the Sussexes' grievances may not be as clear-cut as they have claimed. If Meghan's pregnancy was really used for personal gain, it would make people question everything about the couple's story. Their claims of being victims and treated unfairly would seem less believable, especially if Meghan's actions were found to be dishonest. This could seriously hurt their reputation and make people trust them less. Their fight to control their own story might get lost as everyone focuses more on their mistakes rather than their complaints. Beyond just hurting their image, the accusations against Meghan could lead to big legal and social problems. If it turns out that she manipulated her pregnancy, it might break ethical rules and even some legal agreements with the royal family. Such a scandal could have a big impact on Meghan's future opportunities, especially those that depend on how much people trust her. The social consequences would also be really tough. Meghan's role as a public figure and advocate for important causes would be greatly damaged if her personal choices contradict the values she promotes. The story of a strong, independent woman fighting against an unfair system would be overshadowed by the reality of someone who might use her private life for personal gain. This disconnect between Meghan's public image and her private actions could lead to a significant drop in support from both the public and her friends. Additionally, a popular theory surrounding Meghan's pregnancy involves the possibility that she used a surrogate, which was never revealed to the public. This idea is fueled by inconsistencies in her public appearances and the strict control over information regarding her pregnancies. Many point to the secrecy around the birth, the absence of public hospital records, and Meghan's cautious behavior during her pregnancy as clues that suggest the Sussexes may have had a surrogate carry Archie. Surrogacy is a personal choice, but when it involves the British royal family, known for its deep-rooted traditions and openness, it becomes especially controversial. Meghan and Harry's lack of clear communication on this subject has led some to wonder if they concealed a surrogacy to maintain the image of a traditional royal pregnancy. If this were true, it could be seen not just as breaking royal protocol, but also as an attempt to mislead the public and control their story for personal benefit. The consequences of such a revelation are significant. If kept secret, surrogacy could spark questions about Archie's royal legitimacy. It would also add tension to the already strained relationship between the Sussexes and the monarchy. The royal family's legacy, built on centuries of tradition, holds great importance, and any secret that challenges those long-standing expectations could be viewed as a serious breach of trust. One key element of Meghan's pregnancy story is how she skillfully shaped the media's portrayal of her. From the moment she joined the royal family, Meghan showed a sharp understanding of the media's influence, often using it to her benefit. But the way she managed the public's view of her pregnancy brought up serious ethical concerns about how far she would go to control how people saw her. Meghan's media strategy relied on a mix of selective public appearances, carefully planned leaks, and well-timed public statements. By controlling her image closely, she was able to create a narrative that made her appear as a victim of royal mistreatment, while also keeping details about her personal life hidden. The lack of genuine images of her pregnancy, along with staged photo shoots, created an illusion that kept people guessing but never fully informed. This approach allowed Meghan to keep an air of mystery around her pregnancy. Meghan and Harry's larger narrative centered around their journey as modern royals seeking freedom from the strict rules of the monarchy. But this same strategy took a sharp turn when doubts about her pregnancy's authenticity started to emerge. The carefully crafted image she had maintained began to crumble, revealing the contradictions at its core. Meghan often pointed to her desire for privacy as a key reason behind her choices, especially concerning her children. However, the secrecy surrounding her pregnancies, along with accusations of deception, makes one wonder if her demand for privacy may have crossed into dishonesty. While it's fair for public figures to ask for privacy, it doesn't excuse the potential manipulation of significant life events like pregnancy. The real ethical issue here goes beyond Meghan's right to privacy. It's about her responsibility to be truthful, especially when her actions could impact the royal institution as a whole. Meghan played a role in deliberately keeping information from the public. The carefully staged public appearances and her decision to avoid traditional royal customs point to a pattern of behavior that prioritizes personal control over openness. This approach undermines the trust that people place in royal figures and raises questions about Meghan's true intentions. The ethical concerns go beyond her personal choices and reach the integrity of the royal family itself. If Meghan's pregnancy was manipulated or misrepresented in any way, it wouldn't just damage her reputation, it would also reflect poorly on the royal institution, which didn't address these inconsistencies. The controversy lies in the blurred line between privacy and deception, showing how complicated it is to balance personal life and the public eye. As Meghan's partner and a key figure in his own right, Harry's role in shaping the pregnancy narrative is crucial for fully understanding the depth of this controversy. Harry has always stood by Meghan as her fierce protector, often at the cost of his relationships with his own family. While his loyalty is admirable on a personal level, it raises serious doubts about his judgment and whether he was aware of the possible deception surrounding Meghan's pregnancy. Did Harry know about the alleged manipulations, or was he caught up in the narrative Meghan had carefully built? The answer to this question is crucial for his public image and his ongoing conflicts with the media and his family. If Harry was involved in the deceit, it would show a willingness to compromise his own integrity to defend Meghan's story. However, if he was unaware, it paints a picture of a prince who may have been misled by those closest to him, further exposing the unhealthy dynamics in their relationship. No matter the level of his involvement, Harry's unwavering support for Meghan during this scandal has put him in an increasingly fragile position. Harry's credibility as a spokesperson for honesty, mental health, and transparency is deeply shaken by the possibility that he was either complicit in or unaware of Meghan's alleged deception. His role in this story is critical, and how he handles the ongoing scrutiny will greatly influence how people see both his character and his relationship with Meghan. The controversy surrounding Meghan's pregnancy goes far beyond just the royal family. It touches the core of the Sussexes' public image. Meghan and Harry have built their post-royal brand on the ideals of authenticity, honesty, and social justice, often presenting themselves as champions of truth in a world filled with media manipulation. Yet, the accusations of deception challenge these values, revealing a gap between their public image and their private actions. Trust is the foundation of any public figure's connection with their audience, and once broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. The doubts about Meghan's pregnancy put their entire narrative into question, from their claims of victimhood to their wider criticisms of the royal family. For a couple that has relied so heavily on public support to drive their ventures, this loss of trust could have serious consequences for their future projects. The fallout from these revelations also threatens the many causes and charitable efforts that Meghan and Harry champion. When their personal actions are seen as dishonest or self-serving, their credibility as advocates takes a hit. As the public becomes more doubtful of their story, the Sussexes face an uphill battle to repair their image and regain the trust that has been deeply shaken by this scandal. Adding another layer of complexity are the potential legal consequences of the alleged manipulation surrounding Meghan's pregnancy. While the royal family isn't subject to the same legal scrutiny as private citizens, any proven deceit related to something as significant as a royal birth could have serious effects. Questions about the authenticity of official documents, breaches of confidentiality agreements, and misuse of public funds all become part of the larger legal picture, raising the stakes even higher. If it were proven that Meghan's pregnancy was misrepresented, it would not only harm her personal credibility, but could also open the door to a wave of legal challenges, both from within the royal institution and outside sources. The potential for lawsuits, investigations, and public inquiries would loom large, pulling the scandal into a more contentious and high-stakes arena. The legal consequences could stretch beyond just Meghan and Harry, affecting the royal family's reputation and their relationship with the public and media. Additionally, any breach of ethical standards within the royal household could lead to calls for more transparency and accountability, forcing the institution to face its own role in allowing or overlooking such actions. This controversy serves as a reminder that the behavior of individual royals can have far-reaching impacts not only on themselves but on the entire monarchy. The public's intense scrutiny of Meghan's pregnancy is both a result of and a reason for the controversy that has followed her since joining the royal family. Meghan's actions, especially her pursuit of privacy while remaining in the public eye, have created a paradox that fuels speculation. The more she tried to control her story, the more people question what she might be hiding, creating a cycle of suspicion and intense scrutiny. Public interest, driven by a media hungry for headlines, has been both Meghan's greatest asset and her biggest challenge. While she has often used the media to shine a light on her causes and grievances, that same attention has now turned against her, especially with the pregnancy scandal. Questions about her honesty and the truthfulness of her claims have become tabloid fodder, with social media and public discussions amplifying the scandal far beyond royal circles. This intense focus on Meghan's personal life highlights the difficulties of being a public figure in the digital age, where every mistake is magnified and every inconsistency is carefully examined. For Meghan, the scrutiny has intensified to a point where every move is met with distrust, making it harder for her to regain control of her story. The controversy surrounding her pregnancy isn't just a personal issue, it's a family crisis that threatens to further deepen the divide between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family. The ongoing allegations and secrecy surrounding Archie's birth have strained relationships that were already delicate, especially between Harry, his brother William, and their father, King Charles. This controversy is adding to the existing tensions and creating new fractures within the royal household. The effect on family dynamics cannot be understated. For the royal family, staying united in the face of public scrutiny is vital to maintaining their image and influence. Yet Meghan's actions have repeatedly tested this unity, fueling a cycle of conflict and estrangement that shows no signs of easing. The ongoing discord doesn't just strain personal relationships, it also weakens the royal family's ability to present a united front, complicating their efforts to move beyond the scandals of recent years. The impact on future engagements, public appearances, and family events is significant. Meghan and Harry's attendance at royal gatherings is now more controversial than ever, and their feud with the family threatens to overshadow any attempts at reconciliation. The royal family's response to this crisis will be crucial in determining whether they can withstand this storm or if the divisions within the family will continue to grow. Meghan's rise from Hollywood actress to Duchess of Sussex captured public interest like few others. Her story, filled with glamour, controversy, and defiance, has made her both a figure of fascination and division. However, the very traits that made Meghan such an intriguing public figure, her boldness, her willingness to challenge tradition, and her relentless pursuit of controlling her own narrative, are the same ones that have led to her current challenges. The public's fascination with Meghan is a double-edged sword. While it has provided her with a platform to express her grievances and support her causes, it has also exposed her to an unprecedented level of scrutiny that reveals the flaws in her carefully constructed image. As the public continues to track every twist and turn of her story, Meghan finds herself caught in a cycle of intrigue and suspicion that may define her legacy. The ongoing questions surrounding her pregnancy serve as a stark reminder that the public's interest in Meghan goes beyond her royal status. It revolves around the contradictions and controversies that have come to shape her identity. As long as Meghan remains in the limelight, the public's desire for answers will keep the speculation and scrutiny alive, becoming inseparable from her narrative. In summary, the swirling controversy around Meghan Markle's alleged manipulation of her pregnancy is both shocking and deeply unsettling. It's hard to comprehend the lengths someone might go to in order to control their narrative, especially when it involves something as sacred and personal as the birth of a child. The level of secrecy, the carefully orchestrated public appearances, and the potential for deceit paint a picture of a person who values image and power over authenticity and honesty. What stands out most in this scandal is how it highlights the gap between Meghan's public persona and her private actions. She has always presented herself as a champion of transparency, truth, and social justice. Yet these allegations imply that behind the scenes, she was willing to manipulate the very essence of her story to fit her needs. This represents a betrayal not only of the public's trust, but also of the principles she claims to uphold. Harry's role in this unfolding drama is equally concerning. His unwavering support for Meghan, even as her actions grow more questionable, raises doubts about his judgment and independence. It feels as if he is trapped in Meghan's narrative, unable to break free from the complexities of their intertwined lives.